Sentence mining is the process of taking unknown words from our immersion and making them known. This is the most important skill that every Japanese learner needs, as it directly increases your comprehension and thus supercharges your fluency. I've combined all the tools that learners use and considered every piece of media you could possibly mine all into this ultimate video. We got a lot of stuff to cover, so let's get into it. First of all, this is a very long video and it's not designed for you to watch all the way through. You can use the chapters on the YouTube timeline to navigate around the video and use this sheet as the chapters reference. For those who are watching for the first time, I recommend watching section 1 through 4 first. Then, chapter 5 will be about setting up your software and tools. Chapter 6 goes over books and reading, so light novels, manga, physical books, etc. And chapter 8 goes over anime, videos, drama, games, visual novels, etc. And also, if you haven't seen this video called 12 Anki Tips That Changed How I Learned Japanese, consider that a prerequisite, as you are not ready for mining if you don't even know how to use Anki to begin with. So, let's move on to section 1. Section 1. What is mining? I want to immediately draw a line between mining and immersion. People often try to mix these two processes, but what results is simply subpar mining and subpar immersion. Mining is when you go in with the mindset of a learner and look up words to make them known. Conversely, immersion is simply enjoying the content for what it is and forgetting that you're even using a different language to begin with. By definition, you cannot be immersed if you are mining. If you try to do both at the same time, it'll be very difficult to enjoy the content, and as a result, you'll get bored, and if you're bored, you'll stop. So I'm not saying that you shouldn't mine or that you shouldn't immerse. All I'm saying is that you should immerse first, and after you've enjoyed the whole thing for what it is, then go back to mine it if you enjoyed it. And some people are gonna say, well, how am I supposed to immerse in anything if I don't understand anything? I have to look things up in order to understand it. And this issue only pops up if you misunderstand what actually counts as immersion. I've explained more in this video that covers lies that people tell you about what immersion actually is. Section 2. When to start mining. The simple answer is, when you start to notice what you're missing, you can start mining those words. In particular, we're looking for I+1 sentences, which are a general guideline proposed by the linguist Dr. Stephen Krashen, of which the immersion method is based off of. I+1 sentences are sentences that you can comprehend but have one unknown word that you can mine. This is the most efficient way of acquiring more words, as mining them allows you to build up more I, and thus more +1s. Section 3. Anki card configuration. I will provide a free download for my card format. You can find the link in the description or scan this QR code. Now, my card format is optional. You may use your own card format if that's what you like, but this video will be easier to follow if you use my format instead. Once you have the file downloaded, let's install it into Anki. Go to Anki and press Import File on the bottom. From there, navigate to where you downloaded the file, choose it, and press OK. It should tell you that 2 notes were added successfully. From here, you can actually just go ahead and delete this deck, and this will still allow you to maintain my card format. To double check this, open up the browser by clicking up over here. Then on the left side over here, you should find these 2 card formats, Jouzu Sentences Japanese and Jouzu Vocab Japanese. Section 4. Learn to do card shifting before card mining. As I've mentioned in the How to Use Anki Properly video, you don't have to manually create a card if it already exists in your deck. So if you've got a core deck, you can just change the priority of the words so that the words you encounter in immersion show up first. If you don't know how to do this, you haven't watched the prerequisite video yet, so go back and watch that first. Section 5. Your toolbox of mining tools. This section will cover a bunch of tools that will be repeatedly mentioned throughout the video. This playlist on the top right and linked in the description is called Mining Tools. Anything related to installing the tools or setting them up will be linked in here. 5A. Yomitan. Yomitan is a free tool that allows you to look up words in your browser and create cards with one click. It can only create one card at a time and cannot record audio unless you use other tools like ShareX 5C or ASBplayer 5M. A guide to installing Yomitan is in the Mining Tools playlist, link in the description. 5B. Migaku. Migaku is a powerful tool that I'll be using extensively in this video. It allows for batch mining of hundreds of cards in one click and works on text pages and videos. You can even filter it out so it only creates cards with words you don't know. And because it knows what words you know and don't know, you can even track your progress and watch yourself improve. There's basically no downside other than the fact that it's paid, but there's simply no free alternative that can do everything Migaku does. Also, if you use my affiliate link, that will give you 1 month off for free. For the installation guide, please see the mining tools playlist in the description. 5C, ShareX. ShareX is a free tool that can scan uncopyable text and make it copyable. It can also be used to quickly record audio. ShareX pairs well with another tool, MP3 Cut 5F. The installation guide is in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5D, Textractor. Textractor is a tool that hooks into games, mainly visual novels. Any words that appear in the game get piped out and can be mined using other software like Yomitan 5A or Migaku 5B. The installation guide is in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5E, Local Audio Bank. This is a folder that you can download containing native audio recordings of a buttload of words. It has been provided by Migaku for free, and I'll provide a download link in the description. 5F, MP3 Cut. This is a website where you can drop in any audio file like an MP3 or an AAC, then you can quickly trim off the unnecessary bits, adjust the volume, or even take out gaps in people's speech. You can find it linked in the description. 5G, Gavo or Prosody Tutor Suzuki-kun. This is a website that can quickly generate pitch-accurate text-to-speech audio, which is useful for getting sentence audio when you're reading a book, manga, website, etc. Just paste your sentence here, press Jikko, scroll down a bit, then press Sakusei, and from here you can listen to the audio by pressing Saisei.
説教することは実行することより優しい。
Or you can save the audio by pressing Hozon. If the pitch doesn't match what you want, you can click on the kana to toggle between high or low. If you encounter an error after you change the pitch, consider COEROINK 5H, or if you want a real human's voice, consider HiNative 5L. The link to Gavo will be in the description. 5H, COEROINK. This is a free voice synthesizer like Hatsune Miku or Zundamo. I recommend the specific voice called Koshirazu as it makes the least amount of pitch accent mistakes. You can paste in your sentence, adjust the pitch as you see fit, preview the audio.
説教することは実行することより優しい。
It's not as accurate as Gavo 5G, so you should always try Gavo first. A full installation and guide for COEROINK will be in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5I, Forvo. Forvo is a website where you can find native recordings of words and phrases. Simply search for the word you're looking for, then you can listen to it by clicking here,
発音
or download it by clicking here. This website will be linked in the description. 5J, Jisho.org and Tatoeba.org. Jisho is the most standard Japanese to English dictionary that learners use. You can search for words here, but more importantly, you can search for sentences by adding #sentences at the end of your search. If you just try to copy this sentence into Anki, the formatting will get all messed up. So instead, click on the Tatoeba button and it will link you to tatoeba.org. From here, you can copy with the copy button here instead, or generate a card using Yomitan 5A. 5K, Youglish. Youglish is a website that allows you to search for example sentences via YouTube subtitles. Once you find one that you like, you can copy it straight into Anki, then record the audio with a separate tool like ShareX 5C. 5L, HiNative. HiNative is a site where you can ask questions directly to natives. The feature we care about for this video is the request audio feature by asking, please show me how to pronounce this. You can put your word or sentence in here, then in the notes ask for a specific dialect. For most of us, we're looking for the standard Tokyo dialect, so you can paste this here, which will request for the standard accent only. From here, you can just ask the question and wait a few hours for someone to answer. This website will be linked in the description. 5M, ASBplayer. ASBplayer fills in the gaps that Yomitan has relating to videos. So if you use Yomitan to create a card from videos, it won't have the audio or screenshot. ASB can fill this in for you, but you can only do this for one card at a time. Some people call this budget Migaku, but Migaku's job is to batch mine cards, and ASB can't do this. You can find a tutorial for ASBplayer in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5N JPDB.io. JPDB provides a difficulty ranking for a ton of anime, books, games, etc., where you can look up how many words are in it, how difficult it is, what the rating is, etc. And supposedly, if you have all your known word data imported, it could do what Migaku does and auto-generate you a bunch of cards based on what you know. However, the cards are of a lower quality that uses AI-generated voices instead of just using the voices from the anime, and are way less customizable. I personally do not use this tool even though it's free, just because Anki works better. 5.0 JTAT and Subs2SRS. These are both old tools that I no longer use because they are inefficient. I'm only mentioning them just so you know they exist. JTAT allows you to create a frequency list out of subtitles or text files. You can then import the entire frequency list of every word into Anki. However, none of these fields will be autofilled, and you will only have a Google translation instead of a proper definition. Subs2SRS does a similar thing and allows you to import an anime and its subtitles to auto-create literally every word as an Anki card. However, once again, it's gonna be missing the definition. Overall, the cards created from these two softwares are extremely poor and you will spend a lot of time fixing them. If you still want to use these tools, I have a tutorial for both of them in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5P Handbrake. Handbrake is a free tool that allows you to convert video files. Oftentimes with anime, you'll end up with an MKV file that can't be read by Migaku. Simply drag it into Handbrake, set it to convert to MP4, choose an output location, and wait for it to do its thing. You may end up with an M4V, but that's the same thing as an MP4. You can download and install Handbrake from the link in the description. 5Q Aegisub. Aegisub is a tool to fix mistimed subtitles. This will help you get better sentence audio when using tools like Migaku 5B or ASBplayer 5M. The installation and use guide is in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5R Calibre. Calibre is a tool for viewing digital books in the EPUB or AZW3 format. It also allows you to take the digital book and export it into another format like TXT. For a guide on how to set up Calibre, please see the mining tools playlist in the description. 5S OBS. OBS is free software for recording your screen. It's what I'm using right now to record this video. You can record your screen when you're watching something or listening to an audiobook, which will give you an MP4 file that can then be used in other tools like Migaku 5B. The installation guide is in the mining tools playlist in the description. 5T Jimaku.cc and Kitsunekko.net. These two websites are where you can download raw subtitles. Jimaku is a bit newer and is what most of us use these days, so I'd recommend checking there first. Simply type in what you want to look for, and if it's there, you can likely get usable subs in the SRT or ASS format. If it's not there, unfortunately, you're probably out of luck. Both of these will be linked in the description. Section 6. Mining from text. This section will cover different ways to mine from text-based immersion. Please use the timestamps to navigate to what you think is relevant to you, or watch through the whole thing to get a glimpse of what's possible. 6A TXT files. Plain text TXT files are the ideal files to mine on as they are easy to load and don't have weird computer formatting. They make it very easy for you to batch mine multiple cards at once as well. To start, drag your text file into Chrome. From here, you want to make sure your tools have access to local files. So open a new tab and type in chrome://extensions. Look for the tool you want to use, click on details, then enable it to run on incognito and file URLs. The two tools you want to make sure you do this for are Yomitan 5A and Migaku 5B. And once you've done this, refresh the TXT page and you should be able to use your tools now. 6A1, single card mining from TXT files. To create one card at a time, first make sure Anki is open, then use Yomitan 5A to highlight over a word by holding shift, then click the green create card button up here. Go back to Anki and open the browser by pressing B, go to your deck and check that the card that you just made is there. If you're satisfied with the way the card looks, you can review it just as it is, but I would recommend improving the quality of the card by going to section 9A. 6A2, batch card mining from TXT files. To batch mine cards, first make sure that Anki is open, then enable the Migaku toolbar and refresh your page. You should see the floating head icon. Click this and parse the page. This should color all your words and highlight and underline a bunch of stuff. The first thing you want to do is get a baseline of your progress. Press the graph button to see where you're currently at. Don't react too much to the initial number because this is inaccurate. There are some words that Migaku doesn't know that you know, probably because you don't have an Anki card for it. So what you need to do is go through the entire file and mark any unknown words that have a red underline as known if you already know the word. For example, this word here is a word that I already know. To tell Migaku that I know this word, I would mouse over it and press 3 on my keyboard. This will remove the red underline and make it green, marking it as known. What this also does is, see how this word appears multiple times? When I mark it once, any instance of it across any media will also be marked as known. So when I check the graph again, voila, we can see that my total comprehension has gone up. Here is a quick and handy Migaku shortcut guide. 1 marks the word red, meaning unknown, and it will be counted in for mining. 2 marks the word as yellow, meaning seen, and it will not be counted for mining, but it will not be treated as known either. 3 marks the word as green, meaning known, and it adds the word to your known list and will be ignored from mining. 4 marks the word gray, meaning ignore. It won't be added to your known list and it won't be counted for mining. With this information, go through your document and mark all the words with the correct color. If you have a massive file, like a whole book, consider splitting it up and going chapter by chapter instead. Once you've marked all the words, in the Migaku toolbar, under Export Options, choose Export Unique 1T, then press Confirm. You'll get to check what cards are getting created before they're created, so scroll through and make sure all this is correct. If there's anything wrong, you can uncheck the word and input your own. Final thing before you create all these cards is to make sure the image field is correct in the card creator. So find Migaku on the extensions bar, click on Migaku Dictionary, open the card creator, and check that the image field here is set to Google Images. With that done, press Create Cards and let Migaku do its thing. Once it's done, go back to Anki and press B to open the browser. Go into your deck and check if all the cards are here. If you're happy with the way the cards look, you can just review them the way they are, but I'd recommend increasing the quality of your cards by going to section 9B. 6B. Copyable text without audio. Copyable text refers to text that you can highlight and copy, so like a web page. This is as opposed to non-copyable text, which would be like a speech bubble on a manga that you're reading online. For non-copyable text, go to section 6C. 6B1, short form text. Short form texts are like single sentences like tweets, YouTube comments, Discord messages, etc. First, make sure Anki is open. Then we're going to use Yomitan 5A and mouse over the word that you want to mine while holding shift. Then press the green create card button up here. Go back to Anki and open the browser by pressing B. Go to your deck and check that the card that you just made is there. If you're satisfied with the way the card looks, you can review it just as it is, but I would recommend improving the quality of the card by going to section 9A. 6B2, long form text. Long form texts are like whole web pages, articles, novels, etc. For these, it makes sense to use batch mining tools to grab everything at once. For that, we'll use Migaku 5B. While we can run Migaku on these web pages, Because web pages have computer formatting and other text on the side, it messes with our comprehension graph a little bit. So instead, let's turn this into a TXT file first. Simply open Notepad on Windows or TextEdit on a Mac and paste it in here. Then save this to somewhere you can easily access and go back to section 6A2. 6C, non-copyable text without audio. Non-copyable text refers to text that you cannot simply click on and copy, like a speech bubble on a manga you're reading online or a physical book. If it's text on your computer, we can use a tool that will scan the text and make it copyable, that being ShareX 5C. So once you scan this, you have two options. You can either open up a Chrome tab and paste it into something like DeepL, then go back to section 6B1 and make these cards one at a time using Yomitan 5A. Or you can paste all of what you scanned into a notepad file and save it as a TXT file, then batch mine from the TXT file by going back to section 6A2. If you have a physical book, honestly, the most hassle-free way is to just find a digital copy and do the above steps. But if you can't find one, you can either manually type out the text yourself, or what would probably be easier, just take a picture of it and send it to yourself, then do the steps before. 6D, copyable text with audio but no visual. So this is when you get a script or a digital book and it has an accompanying audio file like an audiobook or some sort of ASMR or other onsei sakuhin. If you've bought this file off a famous doujin site and that file starts with RJ, you're looking for the daihon folder or daihon.txt or something like that. If you bought a digital book off Amazon, you can convert it into a TXT using Calibre 5R. Then go to section 6A2 and follow that up with section 9B, specifically the part about recording audio with ShareX 5C. There is a more automated setup, but it requires an active Adobe subscription and Premiere Pro CC 2025 or higher. If you have access to this, then go to section 6D1. 6D1, using Premiere to make an audiobook with auto-timed subtitles. For this, you will need an active Adobe subscription or Adobe Premiere Pro CC 2025 or higher. First, we need a text file, and second, we need an MP3 file. If you bought your digital book off Amazon and have an Audible audiobook, you will need to use Calibre 5R and OBS 5S. That will give you the TXT and MP3 that you need. Go to Premiere and start up a new project, drag your audio files into the timeline, and from here we want to go into the Text tab. If you don't have it, go up to Windows, Text, hit the three dots and hit Generate Static Transcript. Set the language to Japanese and hit Transcribe. Once it's done, hit the three dots again, go to Import, Import Corrected Transcript. Then choose the TXT. This will auto-align your TXT file with the audiobook. From here, we can go into the Captions tab and create captions. Now, let's export the subtitles. Go to the three dots, Export, Export as SRT. And let's export the video as well. Hit Ctrl M, rename your file to keep things organized. Click here to choose where to save it as and what to name it. Then make sure the file format is H.264, and I'd recommend shrinking the resolution so the file size isn't so big. Once the export is done, let's check that the SRT file actually works. Open it up with Aegisub 5Q, and you're looking for any weird formatting, stuff like this symbol. If this shows up, simply copy it, then go up to Edit, Find and Replace, paste it into here, replace it with nothing, then press Replace All. After this, press Ctrl S to save the file, and you're good to go. Now that you have an MP4 with subtitles, you can go to section 8A. 6E, non-copyable text with audio but no visuals. This is if you have an audiobook or like an onsei sakuhin, but the corresponding text isn't copyable, maybe because you have a physical book or the digital book you have is in PNG format, or you have some onsei sakuhin that provides a script in PDF format. For these, refer to section 6C to turn the text copyable, then refer to 6D or 6D1 for what comes next. Section 7, mining from audio, starting with 7A, audio with no text. This is like a YouTube video where the subtitles are either non-existent or auto-generated and riddled with mistakes, or it's an ASMR or other onsei sakuhin that does not provide a daihon file. In these situations, to be completely honest, just don't mind it. Yes, we have tools that can auto-generate the subs, but unless you're at a high enough level to identify and correct mistakes, you won't know when there are mistakes. Overall, I mean, if you can't find the text file for it, it's probably not worth the time in my opinion. 7B, audio with text. This is when you have an audiobook with the book as well, whether it be digital or physical, or if you have an ASMR or onsei sakuhin with the daihon file. For these, please refer to section 6D or 6E. Section 8, mining from audiovisual media. Starting with 8A, video with subtitles. When you have a video with subtitles, this is actually the best possible setup for batch mining. And I don't mean like YouTube auto-generated subtitles, I mean like a proper SRT file that someone made. You can find where to get subtitles in section 5T. Now, I'll provide a free single card mining solution, but since this is the perfect spot for batch mining, my recommendation is batch mining. For the best, most optimal setup, skip to 8A2 instead. 8A1. Single card mining from video with subtitles. Now, video means two things. Either you have an MP4 file or you found a video online. If you have a video downloaded but it's not an MP4, convert the file into an MP4 using Handbrake 5P. Once you have the MP4 ready, simply drag it into Chrome up here and it'll open as a new tab. From here, whether you're watching an online video or an MP4, these steps will be the same. We're going to use two tools, Yomitan 5A and ASBplayer 5M. First, press the tilde key, that's the key next to 1 on your keyboard. This should open this side panel from ASB. If it doesn't open, just find ASB from your extensions list and click Open Side Panel. From here, we want to load subtitles. If you're watching a video online and it provides the Japanese subtitles to you and they are not auto-generated, then you can choose them from this list here. Otherwise, press the load button down here and select the SRT subtitle file you want to use. Okay, now that these subs are in, we want to make sure that everything actually works. So play through the first few seconds and confirm that the subtitles actually match the dialogue. If they are off-timed, you will need to retime them using Aegisub 5Q. Next, make sure Anki is open, and from here you can search for a word you want to mine. Mouse over the word and hold Shift to look it up in Yomitan. Then, create a card by clicking the green button on the top right. Once this changes color, the card should be created. From here, press Ctrl-Shift-X to record the audio. Once it's done, you can adjust the length of the audio by sliding this bar around, and you can preview the audio by clicking on the MP3. When you're happy with what you have, press the Update Last Card button, and voila, that should have added the audio to your card. We can check it by going into Anki and pressing B to open the browser. Find it in your deck and check that the image and sentence audio have been added. If you're satisfied with this card, you can review it as it is. But I recommend increasing the quality of your card by going to section 9A. 8A2. Batch mining from video with subtitles. For this, we're going to be using Migaku 5B, and this is the optimal best possible setup for mining. First, make sure Anki is open. Then enable the Migaku toolbar on Chrome and refresh the page. You should see the floating head icon. Now, video means two things. Either you have an MP4 file or you found a video online. If you have a video downloaded but it's not an MP4, convert the file into an MP4 using Handbrake 5P. Once you have the MP4 ready, click on Migaku in the extensions bar and go to the Migaku player. Drag in your MP4 into this window and pause the video. From here, whether you're watching an online video or an MP4, the steps will be the same. If existing non-auto-generated subtitles exist, you can choose them by clicking on the floating head icon and finding them here. If they don't exist, hover your mouse over the top right corner of the video and click on Subtitle Settings. From here, you can load in your subtitles by pressing Import SRT, then choosing the SRT subtitle file you want to use. Okay, now the subs are in, we just want to make sure that everything actually works, so play through the first few seconds and confirm the subtitles actually match the dialogue. If they are off-timed, you will need to retime them using Aegisub 5Q. If they are correctly timed, then we're good to proceed. In the Migaku toolbar, press Browser to open the sidebar, then press Parse. This should color all your words and highlight and underline a bunch of stuff. The first thing we want to do is get a baseline of your progress. Press the graph button to see where you're currently at. Don't react too much to the initial number because this is inaccurate. There are some words that Migaku doesn't know that you know, probably because you don't have an Anki card for it. So what we need to do is mark any unknown words that have a red underline as known if you already know the word. Over here on export options, just change this to select unknown, then press confirm. Migaku will select all the unknown words, and you can check this box so it only displays the unknown words. Now, here's what we'll do. If this is a word I already know, to tell Migaku I know this word, I would simply mouse over it and press 3 on my keyboard. This will remove the red underline and make it green, marking it as known. What this also does is, see how this word appears multiple times? When I mark it once, any instance of it across any media will also be marked as known. So when I check this graph again, voila, you can see my total comprehension has gone up. And if I go to the export options and press confirm again, you can see the total selected words have gone down because this sentence no longer has any unknown words in it. Here is a quick and handy Migaku shortcut guide. 1 marks the word red, meaning unknown, and it will be counted in for mining. 2 marks the word as yellow, meaning seen, and it will not be counted for mining, but it will not be treated as known either. 3 marks the word as green, meaning known, and it adds the word to your known list and will be ignored from mining. 4 marks the word gray, meaning ignore. It won't be added to your known list and it won't be counted for mining. With this information, go through your video and mark all the words with the correct color. If you're coming from section 6D1, you may have a massive file like an entire audiobook. Consider splitting that up and going chapter by chapter instead. Once you've marked all the words, we're ready to start mining. Click on Migaku on the extensions bar and press Enable Recording, then under Export Options, choose Select Unique 1T, Confirm, Show Selected, and Create Cards. Here, you'll get to check what cards are gonna get created before they're created. So scroll through and make sure all this is correct. If there's anything wrong, you can uncheck the word and input your own. Final thing before you create all these cards is to make sure the image field is correct in the card creator. So find Migaku on the extensions bar, go to Migaku Dictionary, open the card creator, and for the image field, if you're working with something with visuals, choose Screenshot. But if you're working with audiobooks, choose Google Images. With that done, press Create Cards and let Migaku do its thing. Once it's done, go back to Anki and press B to open the browser. Go into the deck and check to see if all the cards are there. If you're happy with the way the cards look, you can just review them the way they are. But I'd recommend increasing the quality of your cards by going to section 9B. 8B. Audio-visual media with non-copyable text or no subtitles. This section will cover videos with hard subtitles but no subtitles you can interact with, or the text or UI in a video game that is not a visual novel. For visual novels, please see section 8C. For these, refer to section 6C to turn text copyable, then refer to 6D or 6D1. 8C. Visual novels. For visual novels, we need to set up a tool called Textractor 5D. You'll also probably want ShareX 5C or OBS 5S to record the audio. I recommend recording your screen using OBS while you're playing so that you can easily access the audio later. With your game open and Textractor hooked on, you should be able to start hooking text like this. From here, we can either start single card mining by copy-pasting this into some Chrome tab, then running Yomitan on it, and you can go to 6A1 for more detail, Then use ShareX 5C to record and add the audio. But remember what I said in section 1. Do not mix immersion with mining, which means that it's a better idea to play the game first, then mine after using batch mining. So for batch mining, we want to take all the text here and copy it into a notepad file. Save this as a TXT and go to section 6A2 if you just want the text, or section 8A2 if you've recorded the audio using OBS as well. Section 9. Readying Anki cards. Once you've created your cards, you could just study them the way they are, but oftentimes they'll be missing information, too much information, wrong information, bad audio, bad images, etc. I think it's worth taking some time to familiarize yourself with the words and making sure these cards are as good as they can be. 9A will cover readying cards one at a time, while 9B goes over batch editing. 9A. Readying one card at a time. This is for if you have like a card or a handful of cards, but not this many cards. If you have this many cards, go to 9B instead. Okay, so let's take a look at one of the cards we made. First, the expression. We probably don't need to change this, but in the definition, it often includes way too much information. Not only do I not need 2 Japanese definitions and 2 English definitions, I also don't need to know which dictionary this came from. If I want to use this Japanese definition, I'd simply copy this, select everything with Ctrl A, spam backspace a few times, then paste it back in. Optionally, you can write imi on the top, meaning meaning. If I wanted to use the English definition, I'd copy these out, paste this into something like Discord or a notepad, and that's going to remove the bullet point formatting. Copy this again, then go back to Anki, select everything with Ctrl A, spam backspace to delete everything, then paste it back in. From here, I'll just adjust it so that everything is on one line. Should probably also mention that before all this, you should know what the definition means. If you don't understand this, change it. If the definition is missing for whatever reason, you can either look it up on Jisho.org 5J, or run it through Yomitan and copy it from here, or just Google the word and grab it from here. Next, on the reading field, if you've got Yomitan set up properly, it should look like this. What we'll do is we'll just split this to the next line and get rid of this gap, then highlight the text and color them with the respective colors. If you are unfamiliar with my pitch coloring system or the quick color changing add-on, please check my video on pitch accent up here. Now, if the Yomitan graph is wrong, select the field and go into the HTML editor up here, select everything with Ctrl A and spam backspace, then close this by clicking the HTML editor again. If there's nothing in this field, then make sure you have the Japanese support add-on enabled, click on your expression, then click onto the meaning. That should auto-generate the reading. Simply delete the kanji and the brackets. From here, if the pitch graph is missing, copy the reading, press the pitch graph button up here, paste the reading, enter in your highs and lows, remember to include the particle, then press OK. From here, I like to get rid of this line in the middle as well, then we color the text as we did before. For the audio field, if the audio is strange or bad quality or wrong pitch or wrong word, you can replace the audio with your local audio bank 5E or check Forvo 5I. Next, on the sentence field, if it's got some weird formatting on it, just fix it. And I like to add de on the top, meaning example. If you don't have a sentence or the sentence is just bad or too short or too long, you can find another example on Jisho 5J or Youglish 5K. You don't need a sentence for every card, so it's up to you whether you want to use one or not. For the sentence audio, you can either record it using ShareX 5C, then edit it down using MP3 Cut 5F, or generate it using Gavo 5G or COEROINK 5H. You can also get a native to read it out to you by using HiNative 5L. Once you have an audio file you want to use, you can just copy it with Ctrl-C, click on the correct field, and press Ctrl-V to paste it. Finally, for the image, just look for one off Google, and once you find one that you like, you can either screenshot it using Shift Windows S, and clicking and dragging like this, or you can right-click on the image and press Copy Image, then go back to Anki, click on the image field, and press Paste. If you can't find anything off Google, just generate it using ChatGPT by giving it your sentence and keyword and hoping for the best. 9B. Batch processing cards. Now, if you've got a bunch of cards, here's how we can batch process them. First, Migaku generated cards will be missing the reading field, the pitch graph, and the pitch colors. We can add all of these in one go. First, in Anki, you want to create a temporary deck. go to create deck and just name it something like temporary pitch. Then press B to open your browser. From here, select all the cards you want to batch process by clicking and dragging, and the first thing you want to do is extract the reading by going up into Note. Then under Sky's Jouzu bulk ops, press Unpack Reading from Meaning. Press OK. Then from here, let's relocate all these words to the temporary deck, so right click, change deck, choose the temp pitch, and move them over. Now go back to Anki, and under Tools, go to Pitch Accent, Bulk Add, choose the temporary pitch, choose the expression field, choose the reading field, then choose where you want to generate the pitch accent in, and that's usually the reading field. Press OK. That's going to generate the pitch accent graphs. Press OK. Then let's relocate these cards back to the original deck, so right click again, change deck, choose our original deck, move cards, and finally we want to color the cards by the appropriate pitch, so go up to Notes, Sky's Jouzu bulk ops, and color fields from pitch graph. Press OK. And now if we check the cards, you can see that the reading field has been generated, the pitch accent graph has been generated, and the text has also been colored the appropriate pitch color. From here, we want to take a look at the definitions of each word just to make sure we can actually read them and that they're formatted nicely. If I want to use this Japanese definition, I'd simply copy this, select everything with Ctrl A, spam backspace a few times, then paste it back in. Optionally, you can write imi on the top, meaning meaning. If I wanted to use the English definition, I'd copy these out, paste this into something like Discord or a notepad, and that's going to remove the bullet point formatting. Copy this again, then go back to Anki, select everything with Ctrl A, spam backspace to delete everything, then paste it back in. From here, I'll just adjust it so that everything is on one line. If you don't mind this formatting, just leave it as it is. If the definition is missing for whatever reason, you can either look it up on Jisho.org 5J, or run it through Yomitan and copy it from here, or just Google the word and grab it from here. For the audio field, sometimes you get some very poor quality audio from Tofugu and it sounds like this. Whoever this lady is probably not a native Japanese speaker, and this sort of weird sounding audio is very damaging for learners. For reference, instead of kobai, it sounds like kobai. Nobody talks like that, that's weird. If you hear that weird voice, you can replace the audio using Forvo 5i,
kobai,
or you can set up a local audio bank 5e.
kobai.
With these, you can just copy the file, go back into here, and press paste to replace the file. Next, if you batch created your cards from a video using Migaku, the sentence audio will already be there. But if it's not there or you don't like it, you can re-record it using ShareX 5C, then edit it down using MP3 Cut 5F, or generate it using Gavo 5G or COEROINK 5H. You can also get a native to read it out to you by using HiNative 5L. Finally, for the image field, if you don't like the one that's auto-generated or if it's not there, just look for one off Google, and once you find one that you like, you can either screenshot it using Shift Windows S, and clicking and dragging like this, or you can right-click on the image and press Copy Image, then go back to Anki, click on the image field, and press Paste. If you can't find anything off Google, just generate it using ChatGPT by giving it your sentence and keyword and hoping for the best. With all the tools and methods now covered, the natural next question is, where do I even get immersion material? And for that, I'd like to invite you to the Jouzu Gumi. This is my Discord server and we frequently share stuff to immerse in, as well as chat about Japanese, Japan, and all things related. Click this link in the description or scan this QR code to join now. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're not convinced yet, maybe this video will convince you.